Hello and welcome to a video taking a look at the Cobi 1:48 scale World of Tanks T34 tank from World War II. This tank was in the service of the Soviet Army from around 1940 all the way through to the 1970s. In real life, it is quite the legendary tank, the legend of course coming from its performance against the Nazis first, and of course being used through the first few decades of the Cold War. It's also one of the most produced tanks in history, and after a while ended up in the hands of many of the Soviet Union's allies, and then once the Soviet Union dissolved, into many of its former constituent states' militaries as well. Now, I'm going to be saying a lot of things about this that I said about the British Churchill tank that I reviewed, which is that this is an outstanding model intended for display. It's nice and small, so it can fit really anywhere on a shelf. If you want to stack a bunch of these next to each other, they will fit in a lot of different areas and a lot of different shelves. It's not intended really for play or for children really, but it does have some minor playability, really more like posability, like I said in the other video. Let's take a look at some of those features, the moving parts on this thing, as it were. Now, of course, as any good tank set should, it has a rotating turret that goes all the way around without too much difficulty. Pretty smooth there, and unlike the Churchill, this one is not going to pop off on you very easily, so that is nice. We have a turret, of course, that also goes up and down. It doesn't go down super far, but you don't really need it to, and it goes up, this one, up to about maybe 30 to 40 degrees even. Pretty good level of inclination right there. Just about as high as you'd ever really realistically want to display it, or maybe even more so. I like to keep it around right here. Of course, this hatch is just a tile that's placed on there. It doesn't open or anything, but you wouldn't expect it to on a tank this size, of course. Now, I suppose you could open up this hatch here, but there's not really any point to doing that, and there's nothing underneath there. Due to the larger wheels on the T34 compared to the Churchill, this one actually does have wheel pieces all the way down, not just on the two ends, which makes it roll a lot better on its treads. The treads won't just slide, they'll actually move on Lego pieces, as well as on carpet, of course. Anything decently textured, it'll roll just fine. That's really all the moving parts on this guy. Everything after that is just details. And there are a lot of them on this guy. You've got, again, a little gun in the front. You've got what must be like a sandbag or something, some kind of thing here, a box or something, I'm not really sure. And we've got, just all these canisters on the back. We've also got a lot of printed pieces that make up some pretty good detail, like a rear hatch here, which is really cool to see, plus some vents. This is all on the same printed tile. Really cool to see there. It's nice that, of course you wouldn't expect these hatches to open, but it's nice that they're represented at least. And we got some more little maintenance hatches on the back. That's really it for the prints. Of course, this hatch is also printed, and we've got the iconic red star on either side for the Red Army there. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this thing, like the other one, is just a really spectacular little display model. If you're a fan of history, if you like that World War II time period, or even the Cold War, I suppose it is a good time to mention that there were a bajillion variants of the T34. From what I could gather, this one is based off of the original 1940 model, although on the box it just says plainly T34. Now, I'm not like a total expert on what this thing should look like, but as far as I can tell, like no glaring inaccuracies stand out to me. It looks like I think it should. The silhouette is definitely correct, and there's a lot of nice details. So maybe if you're a super history buff, you will find something inaccurate about it, but just looking at it, there's nothing that looks out of place to me. It's worth mentioning that this is a retired set from Cobi, and although it originally retailed for $20 for around 268 pieces, nowadays, after this has been retired, you're gonna have to go through some kind of reseller on the secondary market, and the price probably will be a little bit higher. However, Cobi has done multiple versions of the T34 after this, They have a T34 76 variant and a T34 85 variant, which is actually currently available directly from Cobi, which is going to be the cheapest way to get it. You might also find it at a toy store in person, which if you can do that for the retail price, do it because you'll save on the shipping, at least if you're in the US. Is it worth getting over those ones? I can't really say. I don't have them, but I think all of them are probably about the same in terms of quality. So I'm not sure if it's really worth getting this one at a secondary market markup. However, I gotta say it's a really nice model. I'm really glad that I got it, and it looks great on my shelf where I keep it. So while it's subjective whether or not you want this exact version of this tank from Cobi, I have to say this is a really nice model, and if you do decide to go for it, I don't think you'll regret it. That's all for this video. I will see you guys probably tomorrow for something else. Stay tuned. See you guys later.